Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. This is my second time participating in Saturday Morning Makes, and I have several projects to share with you. I'm doing a little bit of Valloween, so buckle in and let's go. Hello everyone, and welcome to Saturday Morning Makes. This is my second time participating. Remember, you want to use the hashtag #SatMornMakes, all one word, and that will populate everybody's projects for today as well as previous sessions. And yeah, I'm going to set this aside. If you forget, that's it. So I'm just going to jump right in. I have a lot to show you today, and I don't want to use too much of your time. I always want to be mindful and respectful of everyone's time. So I am making cards for what has been deemed Valloween, Valentine's/Halloween. So it's a little dark, it's a little gothic, but this is what we're doing. So I have these three cards. This actually was the start of it, but I'm going to talk about these two first, and then we'll come back to this guy. So this started out as a gel plate press. I was using, or gel plate print. I was printing with my VersaFine Clairs, and I had this ink, this the Verdant, all over the gel plate, and then I stamped in pine cone with this beautiful stamp. The stamp set is from Visible Image. It's called Just Breathe. You know, it doesn't have any lungs, but I like it. The rib cage, I think, is just beautiful, and the heart, is all of it is just gorgeous. So this has been sitting in my stash. It was just the green and the brown, and then after I stamped this, then I finished stamping off the ink, and it was just white cardstock with this image, and this was just stamped with the excess ink. I did not re-ink my stamp. So I had both of these sitting in my stash, and then I actually made the black, red, and white one first, and I was like, well, let's finish up these guys. So what I did, I started out with the backgrounds, which makes sense. So on this guy, I cut out the mask. I would try different things for the other one, but cut out the mask, and then I stamped in antique linen, this stamp. This is the vintage photo. No, dang it, get your words right, Nancy. Vintage script background stamp from Whimsy, and I inked it up in antique linen, and I just did this number. Actually, I did it the other way around. This was down, and then I took my paper to that, and I just press. And then you can see in the background, it's very, very subtle, but there's text. Now up here, it's a little bit darker. You can see that text up there. And that is because I used, what was the name of it? Walnut stain. I just picked up the wrong ink pad, and when I finished stamping up there, it was a little bit darker. But I don't mind it. It kind of looks intentional to me. So on this one, because I kind of made them at the same time, I used this. This one is new to me. Obviously, it's from MFT, my favorite things, and it's called the Typewriter Text Background. So I did the same thing. I used the mask to mask my image, and then I stamped, well, this way. Again, in antique linen, and you can see the typewriter font back in the back. I think it's really pretty. It's very subtle. Really like it. So after I did that, now these were this one was printed on a 5x7 gel plate, so it wasn't much bigger than this. So I knew where my borders were. So I came in with this stamp, again from Visible Image. It's called Grunge Flourish, and I went around my edges. Initially, I was just using antique linen, but it was just too light. So then I came in with the walnut stain, and I really like it. I also used some brushed corduroy. Now over here, I wanted there to be a little more contrast with the green on green, so I brought in some pine needles, and I kind of like that. It has kind of a bluish hue to it. So that's what I was doing on the background. I have this on both of them, more subtly on this one, more prominent on this one. But I also brought in this kind of damask from Stupendous, and I just again used the antique linen, and I went all around the edges. It is very, very subtle. You can kind of see it here underneath the stenciling, and you can kind of see it over here. This one is, you really can't see it. I've done too much ink blending at this point, so it was moot on this one because you can't you can't see it at all. But I did use it many times actually, and I even kind of came in with just some darker ink just to kind of just give some randomness to that pattern, but it wasn't really prominent. So all right, so then I decided that I really wanted some extra texture. So I pulled out the stencil. Let me see if I can find the stencil. Here it is. This is Honeycomb Hex, again, from Visible Image. Used a lot of Visible Image on this day, which was just last night. And then I used, this is new to me, Stamparia's Arctic Ice. It is translucent glitter paste. And so I stenciled it on, and of course, because it was translucent / transparent, you could see nothing. But I let it dry overnight, came back to it this morning, and came back to both of them because I put it in this corner and this corner, and then on the top and down here on this one. And I came in with some brushed corduroy, and I ink blended over it, and that's what gave me this amazing contrast. So everything underneath is what was already there before I put the stencil and the paste down. But then I did the ink blending, and that put ink in between, so it pulls out that pattern and that texture. Now this one is a little more subtle. Up here you can't hardly even see, but you can tell that it's there. Here you can tell, and down here you can tell. But again, it's mixed media, it's grunge, so you don't need to see all the details, each one individually, but it all comes together to form your composition. So you can see how they're just kind of a variation on a theme, right? Obviously different color schemes and overall different cards, but mostly the same products. And then I came in and I wanted some lace. So I've got this, it's like a burlap lace, yep, burlap trim from Dollar Tree. And this is the one that I use. This is my last piece. And then there are these other two patterns as well. Let me put them on this so you can kind of see what patterns I have left. Very nice, and again from Dollar Tree, so you know, very affordable. But on this one I also wanted this little trim right there, and I did this first, and then I came back and I did the lace. But that trim that oh, here it is. Here we go, my dears. Here we go, my dears. These edger dies from Pink Fresh, and I used this one. You can see it kind of has that interlocking circle motif. And then I wanted the darker paper to be behind it so you could see, but it kind of got lost, to be honest. But I pulled out some papers from my stash for both of these. Now this one is from Tim Holtz. This one on top, I actually put some on the inside as well. All of these are Tim Holtz. So this is a very old pattern paper pack. It is called Lost and Found Halloween from My Mind's Eye, but very nice. Why am I saying it's Tim Holtz? I'm lying. It's My Mind's Eye. I guess because it has a Tim Holtz feel. Sorry, I've been saying that was Tim Holtz for a couple days now. My Mind's Eye. I stand corrected. Lost and Found Halloween. And lots of beautiful papers. Now this one is from this one by Jen Hadfield. It's called Heart of Home, and I just pulled out this rosy one and just did a little bit of ink blending with the antique linen so that it would coordinate. Now this gold piece is from, and the hearts and the word heart are all from this pattern paper pack, Gold Hearted from Tonic Studios, and I used this polished gold for all three. Now this was actually kind of an offcut with a slimline die from Pink Fresh Studio, and it was just extra, but I thought it added kind of a cool element down there. So added that down, layered up my pieces of card. Now on this one you can't tell incredibly well, but I also took my scissors and I did like this to kind of rough up my edges. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. Now Tim Holtz does have a tool that will do that, but scissors work just fine. So use what you have if you like that look. I know it's not for everybody. I know this is not for everybody, but hopefully you'll be able to, you know, draw some inspiration, maybe not from the style, but from some of the different techniques and the way that I've layered my my mixed media, well, mediums. So let me set this aside. This You Are My and You Have My Heart are both from Gina K. So it's this sweet little stamp set. And it says heart stamp, and then I also got this die. Now, my friend and I went to a Gina K workshop up in Greensboro, North Carolina, several years ago, and I can't remember if the stamp set was free or the die was free, but she gave them to everybody, and then I won one or the other. I feel like the stamp set she gave to everybody, and I won the die, I think. But anyway, I didn't stamp it. I die cut it with that same gold cardstock. And then this is just brown from my stash, as well as some gilded embossing powder, and I think they came out really cute. Now the actual heart die cut from the same pattern paper, and it's from this old honeybee stamp set. I didn't stamp it out, but I used the die, the coordinating die, and I just kind of put them on there a little whimsically, if you will. Now on this one, the pattern papers, this one is from, it's from that same Mind's Eye, the Halloween Lost and Found. And then this one, this little green guy, is from this one, also by my Mind's Eye, Gnome, Sweet Gnome. Let me show you. It is this. And I actually was going to use the stripe, which of course is the same color combo, right? But this I felt like was a little bit better contrast in the same color family. This I felt was too similar. So I'm glad that I had that, and I chose that one for this little piece. And then this little piece of wood grain is from this pattern paper pack. Lots of pattern paper today. I don't usually do that. But obviously this is from Bo Bunny, Merry and Bright collection. It's very Scandi, very Nordic. Totally up my alley. And of course this is the piece, and I just thought that I mean, it coordinates well with both of them, but I already had those picked out, so I like kind of the contrast of the dark and the light there. And I put a little bit of that on the inside, a little bit of splatter with my starry colors. This is the one that I used. I don't know if I have them in the right order or not, so I can't tell you. But I also used some brush corduroy and just kind of smudged it out and used a paintbrush to splatter on both of them. This one also has some on the inside. I think I mentioned these already. And you can see the gold. It's very pretty. Gold on this one, gold on this one, and on the inside. So those are those two. Shoo, you guys, let me know what you think. Again, I know that this style isn't for everybody. I know Valloween is an unusual take on on Valentine's Day, but there you go. I found it on Instagram. I believe it was, oh, something Little Halloween. Is it Sweet Little Halloween? I'll try to link to her over on Instagram. But she's awesome, and she's, you know, so many people are Halloween all year, and I like to incorporate it where I can. And if I find something fun and new that I can participate in, then I definitely want to. Now this guy, to me, is the piece de resistance, and that's actually how all of these started. Because I had several different kind of Halloween-y stamps, and I texted a picture to my kiddo Quinn, and I said, you tell me what you think. And this was the one that they chose, the Just Breathe by Visible Image. And their idea was that the heart would be inside the chest, inside the rib cage. And so we tried. Didn't really work. So then thought number 2, maybe it was thought number 22, I'm not really sure, but the idea was that the ribs would be breaking open and the heart would be busting up out of the chest. So took the X-Acto knife, and in the same way that I cut those ribs out there where we tried to stamp the heart inside, I cut it out. I cut the ribs out on this stamped image, and that allowed me to kind of tear the ribs open, if you will. And then I stamped the heart in black on red cardstock, and then I also ink blended over it. And it's disproportionate. It's a little bit too big, and obviously it's in the wrong place because it should be kind of behind the sternum a little bit more. But you get the idea. And so I did that, and I put this fun little Little swirly stamp in there too. And that is from, sorry for reaching over you like this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's this guy. You can see how those swirls. Yeah, so there's that. And then my frames, I used my Hero Arts oval nesting dies. And if you have not ever made a frame with nesting dies, it's actually quite simple. The hardest part is making sure that everybody is lined up evenly so that you have an even frame all the way around. So I always lay mine down because holding them is just kind of a nightmare. So I turn them this way so I can put my tape on the outside, not on the cut, not on the blade. So you just lay them down, line them up, whatever shape you have. If you want to make a frame like this, it's really quite easy. I just kind of eyeball it. If it's a little off, I'm okay with that. It's not the end of the world, right? It's card making, and it's supposed to be fun. And if it gets to the point where it's no longer fun, I have to walk away. So you just tape it down like that. You put it on your die cutting sandwich. You put the paper. Paper will be, for me, the paper goes under it because I cut into the bottom plate. Some people do it the other way around. But where is my pattern paper pack? This is the pattern paper pack that I used. It is Ruby Romance, again by Tonic Studios, the same as the gold, and I used this ruby red. I also used a bit of the Christmas silk, and that's where the wings came from, and this little strip right here. Everything else was the ruby red. So I took a whole sheet and, excuse me, die cut it out like that, and then this was here, and you can see where the frame came, and then this one was there, and you can see where the other frame came. So that's how I got this and this. And the reason that I did this one was because the heart just wasn't prominent enough, and that was supposed to be the focal point. So I had to kind of draw your eye in. So yes, you see the whole card, but then your eye comes in here, and then your eye comes down here. So just playing with pattern, playing with design, and just kind of making it all work in a way that pleased my eye. So there is that. And I again messaged Quinn and said, okay, which of the pattern papers do you like? And my pattern paper pack for this one is from Honeybee Designs. It is Back to Basics, or Honeybee Stamps rather. It's the Back to Basics set. And I literally took this. I didn't have the wings on yet. It was just the oval. And I took a picture on every single piece of pattern paper. And together, Quinn and I and my neighbor Millie, we all put in a vote on which one we liked the best. And it actually worked with quite a few of them. But this one obviously won. And I'm not mad about it at all. But this is 6x6. And these are 5x7 cards. So I pulled out this little piece. It's a florally, it almost looks like a calico print. And this has been in my stash of scraps for a very long time. Excuse me while I have a drink of my Java. A sip and a gulp. Sorry about that. But anyway, I like to use a strip of another kind of a coordinating or contrasting color or texture or pattern. So if I have large pattern, I'll use a small on there, or vice versa. It just kind of depends, again, what pleases my eye in that moment. But I liked that I was able to tie in the same satin cardstock twice. And then for the, what was this one called? Is it Ruby Red? Is that what it was called? Yeah, the Ruby Red, the high gloss. I was able to tie that in 3 times. And then the Immortal is from the stamp itself, stamp set right here. Immortal Forever. It's right here on the back. Now I did not use any of the grungy stamps. I could have, and they would have worked just fine. But I wish that I would have moved the love over, or maybe had them meet closer in the middle so that you could know that to read the words together, because the idea is like kind of a macabre type of love. But anyway, it is what it is. And I used the love from the Bitty Buzzwords, And there's a die in here as well. It's right down here. It's kind of a mess, but anyway, that was the love that we used. So Immortal Love. And I thought it was kind of cool. Again, kind of macabre, but I love it. And then for the wings, I have these beautiful dies from my friends over at Dies to Die For. One of the Facebook groups that I was admin for about a year, we did a card hop, and the owner donated some dies to the participants, and this was one of the die sets that I received. Very, very pretty. Now all of these different pieces, they die cut out, and I wanted mine to stay in, so it was a bit of a task, especially on the white ones. Now I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like velvet wings or vellum, or exactly what material or medium I wanted to cut them out of, but I couldn't find anything that I was happy with. So I remembered that I had this old pack of mulberry paper. It was on clearance for 97 cents. Now, if you guys have used mulberry paper, you know it's not cheap. 97 cents, and I've had it forever. I think it was from Joann, maybe Michael's, maybe even, oh gosh, what's the one that went out of business? A. Seymour. I think it was A. Seymour. Anyway, use this one. I attached it to some sticker paper, and it just gave it a little more heft. It's still kind of flimsy, but it allows them to have a little bit of body and texture. I love that they interrupt the borders of the card. Love that. And they're just really fun. Now, the pieces that fell out, I let them stay out, because to me, obviously, the person that's loving is unliving, non-living. And so I felt like the pieces that were missing just kind of represented decay. So kind of, again, kind of macabre, but I love it. And then on the inside, I did nothing on this one, but I'm really happy with it. My kiddo Quinn loves it. My neighbor loves it. And so it was kind of a collaboration. All of our minds came together. And those are those cards. Valloween, y'all. If you've not heard of it, it's a thing. Valloween. Do you have a favorite of these? Do you hate them all? I'm a big girl. I can handle it. Just be kind, right? You can say your true thoughts. Just be kind about it. I think that's a good lesson for all of us when we're communicating online. So, all right, let me move these. And I have one more project that I want to share with you. From it's a design team project from Whimsy Stamps, but I think it's super cute. And in case you hadn't seen my videos over there, I wanted to be sure to share this project with you here. And I'm knocking things down. Hang on just one second. I have this new hot glue gun that's a little unruly. Okay. Oh, take a breath. So this is my 4-panel mini tag accordion book. I don't know if I have all those words in order, but that's what we've made today. So I started out with this die. It's the second largest of the mini slim tag die set from Whimsy, and love this set. I use it over and over. So this is that. I actually used the reinforcers to cut some black reinforcements on there too, and I used that vintage script that I showed earlier that's down in the bottom of my pile, so I can't pull it back out. But I use that kind of randomly stamping, and then this one is I think it's Burlap Grunge, something like that, from Whimsy as well. And I will try to have everything listed downstairs, whether it's from Whimsy or otherwise. If I can find it, I will list it. Otherwise, I'll try to list something that's similar. Yeah, there you go. So did that, stamped them with Versamark, and then I heat embossed with Alabaster White from Brutus Monroe, and then of course it was white on white. Now these are cardstock or watercolor card, so you know they can stand up to some textures and some moisture and all of that. So I used my sprays. I have the new Lost Shadow in Distress as well as Oxide. And so I sprayed them, and I used a little bit of black soot as well. And the green is Iced Spruce. Now that is the Oxide or the distress, not the oxide, because I didn't want it to have that chalky look to it. I wanted it to be a little more bold. So I have a little bit of both, and I love the tags. Now these little guys, I felt like the pandas needed a landing place, so I cut these tags from the Wonky stitched rectangle die set. This is the smallest die. I don't have them out. I'm not sure. I guess I just forgot to get them out. But I cut them out, and I took my ink straight to the paper, and that's how I made the colored cardstock. And that is the iced spruce. Now the stamp set is this sweet little panda butt stamp set, again from Whimsy. And they're absolutely adorable. When considering placement on the tags, the order, I guess, put him in the front, as you could see him front, you know, his whole body, and his arms are kind of outstretched. He's not really welcoming or saying hi, but that's kind of the feel that I wanted him to have. On the end, you see the panda butt because he's walking away, and he says, "Take care, Panda Bear." He's like, "I'm out of here." And then this one I thought was just cute. He's still happy. It says, "You're cuter than a panda butt." And this one looks like he's dragging, like it's Thursday, right, going into Friday. And it says, "Hang in there, like you're gonna make it. You've got this." So that's kind of my thought process with making these. Now, on their little top hats, those are from the Panda Pizzaz dies, again from Whimsy. The video design team actually did a hop a couple weeks ago. Excuse me, let me get another sip of water. We did a hop, and we featured the Panda Pals dies as well as the Panda Pizzaz, which is just some accessories. There's glasses, there's the top hats, there's a cane, there's different things in there, and they're just super cute. But so these little pattern paper bits, the black with the little paws, it was just a scrap, and I just thought I would give more to the landing space and just kind of add them in. Now this one that goes all the way back, that actually creates the accordion, was from this Slimline pattern paper pack. It's called, I think is it Dog Black and White or Black and White Dog, because they also have a cat one. But you can see that there are many different patterns in here. They're all fun. Obviously this one is dog themed, but I just thought that these with just the paw prints could be pretty much any animal. I mean, we're not trackers, right? So we don't know what a panda paw print might look like. I just thought it was fun. So obviously it was black and white, just like this. And so I cut it in half, and then that gave me 2 long strips, and I butted them up together, and then I overlapped them just a little bit. Forgive my fingernails, but I overlapped them a little bit and glued them down right here, and then that gave me this whole long piece. Now, I am not a measurer. If something has to be measured, if it's too complicated, I'm tapping out. So I was able to kind of eyeball this. So I figured out where I wanted the first one, and then I kind of folded or kind of rolled, because at that point I hadn't creased anything. But just to kind of figure out my placement, I had a little bit of extra here, and I had to snip that off. But then I scored it, and then I, when you take your bone folder, what's that called? It'll come to me. Anyway, I hardened the crease. Cannot think of the word. But that's how I got the accordion piece. Now, if I can remember who I got this idea for this particular design from, I will link them downstairs as well. Because I didn't come up with this on my own. I did find it from someone else. I didn't really follow their tutorial. I just looked at it and was like, okay, I can do this. I can make this my own. So that's what I did. But as far as the little laces, I had the lace here. This was from an Amazon stash. And there's several different laces, and they came on this board all wrapped up like this. But is it this one? Yeah, it is this one. And so I just cut a length for each tag, and then I used some baker's twine to tie them on. But I wanted a little more contrast down here because it was pretty dark, you know, with the green and the gray and the black. And so I just put another little piece of trim on each one, just to add kind of to the frame or whatever, just another kind of mixed media element on there. and it added a little more brightness, a little more contrast to each one. And of course the white around the pandas, and then the pandas are kind of an off-white. Now I colored them with my new Olos. I'm still learning the Olos, but I really like them. But ultimately, I could have done something to the back. I could have made, you know, 4 more tags and put them on the back so that there would be something on the back to look at as well, and it would be nice and clean. Or I could have even just put tags and not decorated them at all, but that would definitely have cleaned it up. But I'm not mad about this. I think it's absolutely adorable. And again, I posted the video on Whimsy's channel as well as my own, and so I'll try to link to those downstairs too if you'd like to hop and see. And then if you wanted to hop along to the other design team hop, you are welcome to do that as well. That was called the I Spy with My Crafty Eye hop, and we have another one coming up for this month. But for Sapmorn Makes, I really wanted to share that with you guys here. So I have this accordion book. Then I have this one that Quinn and Millie helped me come up with. And then these two were from leftovers in my stash that I just wanted to do them some justice and continue with the Valloween. So this is what I have to share with you this morning on Sapmorn Makes. This is my second time participating. I want to thank Jill Norwood for creating this. This was her brainchild at the start of the pandemic. She wanted to bring people together in a crafty, kind of artistic way so we could all share what we're doing and kind of build a community of love and creativity. And I think she's been very successful in doing that. The only thing I hate is that it took me so long to find them. But I'm very happy that I'm participating with them now. And I thank you guys for spending some time with me on this Saturday morning. And I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Mwah! All right, my friends, if you have stuck with me this far, here's the thing. I'm going to do a secret giveaway. So if you put hashtag Valloween in the comments, you will be entered for a giveaway. To be honest, in this moment, I don't even know what the prize is, but I just wanted to give you guys a little thank you for sticking this out with me. But as always, I do thank you. You guys are the best. If you would like, subscribe, comment, all those wonderful things, make sure you put hashtag Valloween in the comments, if nothing else. And until next time, guys, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy for hashtag Sapmorn Makes. Mwah! I'm out.